Hi everyone, today is December 31st, 2022. I'm here to do my year recap video and also share out my prayers for the next upcoming year. So starting right away, I just want to take this time to reflect back on all the major things that have happened this year. I know that my Bible journey has been very inconsistent, but there are so many lessons that I've learned through what looks like my failures, and I really want to take this time to just talk that out and to leave a record of that through a video. So going over the major events. I got my permit. Got my permit in January, pretty sure on the 7th. So that was like right off the bat. I started the year with my permit, which was nice because I got it first try. And then I had my birthday party in February, and this was kind of a big deal because I moved to a new city. And it was hard to have friends. It was hard to get used to a new whole place, a new whole school. But that birthday party kind of just like not proved, but really showed how far God has taken me, and also how He's once again provided for me because friends are really important to me. It was proof that we have progressed from the days of being alone in my room during the pandemic all the way to having a full-on birthday party. So although it might just seem like a simple little thing that everyone has, for me it was really meaningful. I also got color guard captain or co-captain, but I was able to get a leadership spot on the team. And that was really nice because if you look at my previous video, which I'll put a tag up, I shared how I wanted to apply for leadership and how it's going to be really hard because it's my first year and first years never get it. But I don't know, God showed people my potential, and the coach chose me through the interviews and stuff. So that was really nice to have because it's something that I always aspired to achieve. And then something that I never thought would happen this year, but really did, and it was a huge event and blessing, was I went on a mission trip to Cambodia. I went with my dad and a couple other people, and that was really meaningful because it was an opportunity for me to, the missionaries who serve there, really like God firsthand allowed me to experience and see what it looks like to truly love God to the point where they like leaving behind the comfortable life and stuff is not a big deal at all. Because Cambodia, it was really hot. I went in July. It was super duper hot, humid, and like I would never like choose to live there. But seeing them, I'm pretty sure they've been like there. The missionaries have been like there for like 9 years almost. To see them like serve God and love Him to the point of just sacrificing. It looks like sacrificing their own life. It meant a lot, and it put everything in perspective because it's literally the textbook third world country that we see. And when I was there and I thought back to what life was like here in this house, it put everything into perspective, how blessed I am, but also how undeserving I am, because there's absolutely nothing that I did to earn this kind of lifestyle. So it was really nice. I also spent a lot of time with kids there too, and I always love that. And then lastly, we always had a cat. I brought Maxie home when I was in middle school because I was going through a really tough time, but really it was such an unexpected surprise. But we also got Jax. He's a little labradoodle, not little, he's a big labradoodle that my brother decided to bring home. So yeah, those are the major events of 2022. And before I move on to my prayers for the next following year, I just want to go back and revisit this kind of list that I made last year. And you can, again, check out that video because I don't think we'll have enough time to go over every single thing. But I was really hoping for a lot of spiritual, like, growth. But at that time, I thought that growth meant, like, doing, like, this video journey, this Bible reading journey every single day without missing a single thing. I thought that was what spiritual growth was all about, but I was proven wrong this year a lot. But I've learned, like I said, valuable lessons that I would never have been able to learn just simply by reading the Bible and filming a video about it. I feel like this year God gave me everything that I literally wanted. Like everything I wanted, he gave it out, like he poured it out to me, and then it was taken away from me, and then I was able to see what life was truly about. Last year I asked for like a best friend, a big friend group, a boyfriend, everything. I asked for all of that, and that's what God gave me. He gave me a social life like beyond imagination. I went out like with my friends a lot. I did all those fun things, and like my literal like statement of in the beginning of the year was life is good, because that's how much fun I was having. I literally loved life so much. I was like, this is why I'm living. It's to enjoy like friends. It's to like go out. Like that's what I thought life was all about. And that's when I slowly, like not slowly, that's when I like literally booted God out of my life. That's when I forgot about God. That's when I like kicked all spiritual things. Not, yeah, I did QTs every day and stuff, but like that's when I lost the passion for God, but gained passion for this worldly life. I think God was like, gave me that on purpose, because slowly people always change, and those like what I thought to be everything in life, what I thought was like what this entire life was about, friends and everything, slowly like those things started to disappear. And then I was left with the thought of, what am I doing? At the end of the day, I realized that all that matters in this life and beyond is God. And the amount of time that I've wasted on my phone with my friends, looking back, it feels like a straight up failure, that I failed everything. I didn't even read, I barely read like 3 books of the Bible this year. And just looking at those legit statistics of everything, it's like, what did you do this year? But it's through the ups and downs, through having it all and then losing it all, that God has really taught me. Like that's when he taught me that this life, it's all about loving God. It's all about spending my time with him, and it's all about holding on to him. It doesn't mean like don't do anything fun in life, but it's make sure that God is in everything, and make sure that at the end of the day, he is the reason that I'm living. So anyways, let's move on to my mindset for this year. My main like statement is live out my purpose. So all those times that I've wasted my hours and hours on my phone and hours with who I thought were my friends and everything, I took a moment at the end to ask myself, what was I truly made for? And these are the things that I came up with. I was made to live for God. I was made to love God, to enjoy God, to glorify God, and to worship God. And each and every day is a new chance and opportunity to live out this blessing. And this year, I really want to just break records, be adventurous, and ultimately unlock that crazy potential that God has planted within me. I realized I can do so much more than this. And this life that God has given me, literally sent his son to die on the cross so that I can live this life. This has a lot more potential in it, and there's so much more that I'm meant to do. So like always, I divide things up into 3 categories. I always have spiritual goals, school goals, and personal goals. So starting off with my spiritual, I have a couple here. I have like 5. The first thing that I wrote was trust God wherever he takes me. So what I mean by this is, right now, our family, or just me in general, is sitting in a place where our future is unsure. And by that, of course, we know that God has something so special in store for us, but we're at a place where we don't know what that next step is. And before, I was like, oh, I'm not moving, because moving has always been such a huge part of my life. But slowly but surely this year, God has changed that within me and actually given me a heart where I don't care where he takes me, especially when it comes to my own comfort. Like, I'm not going to let that get in the way of God doing great things in both me and my family. So I want to trust God wherever he takes me. And second, I be intentional in my prayers. I always, like, as soon as I open my eyes, I start off with like prayer, thanking God for giving me yet another day. And at the end of the day, I also just go over what happened that day with God, and I just close the night off with prayer. But oftentimes I've found out like 1 out of 3 times, I like say the prayer while I'm falling asleep. I do want to have a time before I'm like on the verge of falling asleep. I want to sit down and really pray with God, talk to God, communicate with Him. I also want to have meaningful offerings. So I've always grown up in the church, especially because my dad's a pastor, and offerings have always just been a thing where the offering basket comes around when I'm like 5 years old and I drop whatever envelope that mom gave me. But now offerings definitely is something that I need to do consciously. It's not just money, like a $20 bill that I'm putting in a church basket, but it has actual meaning behind it. There's a reason why I give an offering. It's to show gratitude back to God, because He honestly doesn't need physical money from me, but it's the whole process that matters, and that's how I worship. That's another way of me worshiping God. So I want to really put more weight on that, be aware again of the basic reason of why I'm doing it. And then lastly, I have mirror His character wherever I go. I don't want to just like scream, oh, I'm a Christian, and act completely different, you know? I want to read God's word, and whatever I read, I want it to be transparent, and I want to reflect that in my life. The way I act, the way I talk, I want it to all just glorify God. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect. Of course, I'm a sinner. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to hurt somebody, you know, unintentionally, maybe even intentionally. But through it all, I just want to forgive. I want to provide others with mercy. Like, just what God does for me, I want to do for others. I want to love the unlovable, you know, and embrace the people that are in need. And through that, this is my ultimate like life goal, but I want people to grow curious. I want them to come up to me and be like, why are you so like different than others? Why are you like clearly like this life is hard, but why are you not complaining? And I want there to be a clear difference. I just want people to grow curious, and I want that to be a gateway for them to start their faith journey as well, if that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to my school goals now. This one I only have 3, but first one, I have focus in class, no phones, and have an open mind. So what by this I mean, like a lot of the times, honestly, in school, I go on my phone, like ignore the teacher, put in AirPods with my friends and listen to music together. And if I don't like my teacher, like I just don't listen to him at all or listen to her at all, which is really bad. It's an education that not everybody gets to have. I'm aware of that. So the least I can do is actually focus. And lastly, I have even in school include God. It's a really broad statement, and by this I don't mean like pray before every single unit test I have, but next year around this time I'll probably be done with my college jobs, which sounds crazy to me. But even in like deciding where I want to go, I don't want it to just be about my opinions, what I think, what I want to do, but throughout the entire process, I really want to go through it with God, really think about and ask what He wants for me, what His visions are for me, and align myself with His will. Lastly, let's move on to my personal goals. So I have, for the first one, read at least 1 book each month. I really suck at reading, so this year I want to step it up a little bit, and whether that be just like fun novels, Christian books, whatever, I want to read at least one book each month, and I feel like that'll really help with my the time that I spend on my phone. That will reduce it a lot and also give me something else to do. Second, I want to get good at driving. So I don't know if I wrote that in here. Hold on. For my big thing that happened in 2022, I got a license too. I got a license too, but I don't know, nobody expected me to get it. Even like my driver's instructor was like, you're not gonna get it, but if you really want to do it, go ahead and take the test. But I ended up getting it, you know, but I'm like scared to like do something because I'm not a good driver. Like I haven't hit a curb though, but I'm not a good driver, and I'm like scared, you know. I always get screamed at least once when I have the steering wheel. But this year I want to be so good at driving to the point where like I've never been there, but like I'll go anyway. Like get in my car, I'll drive you, you know? I want to get that kind of good. And then lastly, I have choose discomfort, choose adventures, and choose to push my limits at all times. There's only like, I only figured out one way to explain this, and it sounds really weird, but if you listen through it all, like, you'll get what I'm saying. So pretend you're at the beach. You spent like your whole day there, but you finally like dried up. You took all the sand off of your body. You packed up. You're ready to go home. But then you get another chance. You're like, your friends are like, let's go in the water one last time before we head home. Now you're giving the choice to go home because you're packed up anyway, or choose to go in the water one more time and have fun with your little buds one more time, you know? And when I'm given that choice to choose comfort or choose adventure, choose that more valuable memory, I want to go with this one. I feel like it's going to make my life a lot more adventurous, a lot more fun, a lot more meaningful, and a lot more just rich. This past year was really unexpected, but still good. But I know that 2023 is going to be on a whole new level. And I'm just so excited to see what God has in store for not just me, but my whole entire family. So I thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for joining today's journey. And I'll make sure to see you guys again tomorrow on January 1st with the next Bible chapter. Bye!